Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today. Happy Halloween, the Halloween edition of the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. So I got a solo show for you today. I know, you don't have to complain to me. This is like 3 or 4 solo shows in a row. You guys got to be getting sick of me. But I got excuses. We're going to get to that in a minute. I know you guys can't wait for my excuses. Can't wait to hear those. You can find this and all the back episodes of our podcast over at our website, ordinarymarathoner.com. You can also find them over at the aggregators, places like Stitcher, TuneIn, and iTunes. And if you like the show, please hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a new episode that way. You can also find me over at Twitter. The handle there is at OrdMarathoner. That's O-R-D Marathoner. Follow me there. I'll follow you back. We can get the conversation going in 140 characters or less, or you can find me over, if you like longer sentences, you can find me over at our Facebook discussion group. It's called, guess what? Ordinary Marathoners. It's a closed group though, so you have to add yourself to it, but we approve you right away. As soon as we see your name hit there, we'll approve you. You can join the conversation. We have an amazing group over there. Got a lot of great people, positive support. I mean, this is... These guys are accomplishing so much stuff. It's incredible. And it's a support group, really. I mean, it's a support group. It's a place you can go. You can post all your runs and your workouts. If you think your friends are getting sick of it, and they're just getting sick of you seeing you post your runs every day. Well, we want to see those runs. We want to see those. We want to see you work your way up to your goals. We want to see you out there and seeing what you're up to, how you're training, all that stuff. And, don't be intimidated by that word marathoners, because not all of us on that page have completed a marathon. Let me tell you, it's, marathoning doesn't have to be your thing. It doesn't, if you want it to be your goal eventually, that could be, but you know what, we're rooting for you, no matter if you are a marathoner, maybe you're an ultra marathoner, maybe you're like Frank Fumick doing a Deca triathlon out there, or maybe you are sitting on the couch right now watching Netflix reruns and you are looking for that little piece of inspiration or motivation to get up off the couch and start your journey to fitness or to running or to whatever it may be. Head on over to that discussion group, Ordinary Marathoners on Facebook. Join it. You can participate in a conversation if you like. You can ask questions. You can make comments. Or you can just be a lurker and read what other people got to say. Because, I'm a lurker on plenty pages myself. And, sometimes you can get motivation that way as well. So we invite you all to come by to the discussion group by all means. So, as far as my excuses, I don't know, man. I got to tell you, it's just, I think that fate has just wanted me to take these last few weeks off. That's just the way it was. It was 2 weeks ago. I sat here in this very chair, and I interviewed a woman named Jennifer Rowe. Had a great conversation. Jennifer is the co-founder of a group called From Fat to Finish Line. It's an amazing group. It's a discussion group also on Facebook. It is they have their own webpage called fattofinish.com, and she is also the co-producer of a documentary on Netflix called same title, From Fat to Finish Line. From Fat to Finish Line. You can check it out now. It's a really good documentary. It's about a bunch of people that either had lost weight or are in the middle of their weight loss journey, and how they got together and they did a Ragnar relay. And if you're not familiar with those, it's basically a team relay. It takes place over a number of days, and usually you get 2 vans full of people, about 12 people, and you all take turns getting sweaty. That sounds awful, but that's what it is. And I think the one they did was from Miami to Key West. Took them a few days, but what an incredible story. The interview was great. It was one of my favorite interviews. She was a really good interview. What happened was, after we were done, I went to cut the tape, and I knew there was problems with it. I've been having issues with Skype lately, and the sound just buffers. Like, in the middle of a sentence, it'll just hesitate, and it'll stop for like 5 seconds, and then it'll pick up the sentence exactly where it left off. It's like a buffering issue or something. So I've been having that problem lately. I've just been able to edit my way through it from time to time. but this was just not listenable. And I apologize to Jen, and hopefully we'll be able to get her on the show. I didn't have her on today because I didn't. I've hopefully fixed the problem here. I went and I bought a new laptop because the show must go on. I've connected myself to a different Wi-Fi, which I think is a little bit stronger signal. So hopefully I've got this thing fixed. Now, after I got all that set up and I brought it all home, I did another podcast. I did a solo podcast last Monday. And I sat here and I edited it and I was putting it together and I realized that it just didn't sound right. It was like tinny and awful. And what I realized was I forgot to download the software that goes with the interface that I record this stuff on. I know it's a long-winded excuse. It's an excuse, people. I know. I'm the king of it. But basically, the equipment was shot and it didn't produce a good podcast. I could have fixed it. It took me a couple days to fix it. But by the time I was done, I had done a lot of commentary on things like Frank Fumick, who was out there doing his Deca Triathlon. And I was telling people to go to his page and follow him and watch it for, the entertainment value of this guy. This guy he's amazing. And by the time I was able to get the podcast finished, the guy had finished the race. So I think it took him like 10 or 11 days to finish this thing. But of course, it rendered my podcast obsolete and I had to throw that one away as well. Let's go forward a couple more days. And on Sunday night, I recorded a podcast. And once I was finished, I had to go get my workout in. So I went down to the basement and riding the bike. And when I was done, I came upstairs. We were having a little bit of a rainstorm outside. And wouldn't you know it, the power went out. And the power went out for almost 2 days, or at least a full day. And, there was another one out the window. And now here we are, about 2 weeks after. And I haven't done a show. And, man, it just seems like the world just doesn't want me to podcast anymore. Isn't that, isn't that a sad story? But hey, in the meantime, in the last 2 weeks, we've had a number of people doing a number of incredible things. I got a list here somewhere. I've had it for the last 2 weeks, and actually it's not even complete. But let's see what we got here. We had the Baltimore Marathon. Michelle Katz, she was on the show about a year ago. Actually, it was exactly a year ago because she was here helping me with my race strategy for the New York City Marathon. We had her on the podcast a year ago. She finished the Baltimore Marathon. We also had Dawn Hansen. Dawn, I met her through our Facebook group, and I had simply asked the question, hey, who's racing this weekend? And she said, I'm doing Marine Corps Marathon and I'm doing Baltimore Marathon. And I knew Marine Corps was that Sunday, but I had no idea when Baltimore was. So I said, hey, when's the Baltimore? What week is the Baltimore Marathon? Like, when are you doing that? And it turns out it's the day before. So not only was Dawn doing the Baltimore Marathon on a Saturday, but then she was turning around and doing the Marine Corps Marathon on Sunday. And I tell you, folks, this is exactly why I love this discussion page, because you just meet these people that do these things. It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't know. I guess the vision that these people have, and just their eyes get wide for these amazing accomplishments. Now, I will say this: Dawn bailed from the Marine Corps Marathon at mile 9. So she didn't complete the task, but I got to give it to her for merely even thinking of doing 2 marathons in back-to-back days. I think that's an incredible, it's an incredible accomplishment, even though you didn't finish the second one. I think it takes courage, it takes guts to go for that. So congratulations. We had a number of people in the Marine Corps Marathon. Dawn was just one. We had Jennifer Jameson, she finished it. Katie Mayo finished it. I've been talking to Katie for about a year over on Twitter, and she had trained hard for this, and she had a goal in mind, and she came up a little bit short of her actual goal. But, you train so hard, you do these things. And, I've been there. I've done the exact same thing. I trained hard for Ironman Lake Placid, and my goal was to finish. And then when I finished, I thought I left too much in the tank, and I didn't feel as accomplished as I could have. And there's really, I hate to tell you this, Katie, but there's only one solution to your problem. You got to do another one. So sorry, that's That's the good and the bad news. The bad news is you got to do another one. The good news is when you do it, it's going to make you feel that much better, and you're going to crush it. I know you are. And just get out there and start training. You know, it's got to happen. You got to do it. Paul Feidelson, congratulations, Marine Corps Marathon. Meredith Atwood, former podcasting guest. Laura Scaduto, also a podcast guest, both finished Marine Corps. And Danielle Roswally also finished. I think she finished. I got to admit, I had issues with my tracking app, and I couldn't get everyone in there. And I'm assuming she finished, but I didn't see the final. So, geez, who else do we have? What race was it that Jen Bergstrom did? I can't remember. It was what was it? The Ghost Train. Thanks, Stephanie's listening in behind. So Jen Bergstrom did the Ghost Train. It was an ultra marathon. She was gunning for 60 miles. She did 52 and a half. Yes, I will give you credit for your 0.5 miles. Jen, I was just joking around, but that's still a personal best for her. And you know what? You got to give credit to anyone who can do 2 marathons in one day. That's an amazing accomplishment. And she's got a 100-mile race in her sights next year, and I know she's going to conquer that one. And I think that's Frank Fumick, obviously. I mentioned him twice, I think, but I don't think I just officially congratulated him. But yeah, Deca Triathlon. Who does these things? That's a 24-mile swim, 1,120 miles on the bike, and a 262-mile run. And he finished in about 10, 11 days, but he did it. And what an amazing accomplishment. And it's hard to believe that, like a year ago, I was sitting here preparing for the New York City Marathon and just meeting some of these people, and it just kind of, everything just grew out of this. And here I am a year later. Now I have there's a list of people accomplishing all these amazing things, and what a great bunch of people just to be around and to celebrate the sport and all your accomplishments together as a group. It's been great. I got a lot, I have Suffolk Marathon was last Sunday. This is another one. Now, those of you guys who have been listening to the show, you know that I was supposed to run that one. I did not. I'm not going to bore you with all the excuses I had for this one, but they were pretty solid. Probably the chief of them, the biggest one was I just didn't feel like I was at my peak. I did Ironman Maryland 3 weeks ago, and I had basically, you're supposed to take 2 weeks off after an Ironman. So I had that, and then you're supposed to taper 2 weeks before a marathon. And I only had 3 weeks in between. So my coach and I got together, we finagled a schedule, we tried to put it together. I just was not feeling, I wasn't feeling at my peak. And really, that was the only reason why I wanted to run. Well, the 2 reasons I wanted to run it. I wanted to run with my friend Michelle. And it turns out Michelle goes and runs a 4:15 marathon. She crushes her personal best. And if I was there, I probably would have just slowed her down. So I'm really happy actually I didn't go. Besides, it was really raining pretty hard. And I don't like the rain. I don't run in rain. But, overall, I think it was a wise decision. I got New York City coming up in a couple of days. We're going to talk about that. Let's hit the break and we'll come right back. The Million Moo March is a virtual race celebrating the running community. You select your own distance, create your own goals, and pick any day from November 13th to November 19th to achieve them. Then share them online with all of us so we can help you celebrate together. Registration is only $25, and you will receive a race bib, a sticker, a pin, and a Million Moo medal. Also, you'll be making your miles even more meaningful because the proceeds from the race will go to the American Cancer Society through their Determination running team. So head on over to www.ordinarymarathoner.com/Million Moo March and register today. All right, we're back here from break. I do want to take a moment to discuss the Million Moo March. We actually just sold out today. This morning we sold all 200 entries. Unfortunately, we weren't able to expand it. We sort of hit the deadline there for being able to expand the race to 250. So we're closed. Shop's closed. But the good news is we raised $1,500 for the American Cancer Society, and we'll be writing that check shortly. I can't wait to hand that thing over to them. And you guys, I think I've talked about this before, but I was sort of skeptical about the whole virtual marathon thing. I feel like, you're going to go running anyway. Why do you got to pay money and then go running anyway? But, I think overall we've put together really a great group of people. We want everyone to just sort of run their own distance, choose your own goals, just go out and try your best and hit them and celebrate this sport and just enjoy yourself and take pictures and take video and share them with us over on Twitter and on Facebook. We really want to see them. The dates for that is, I think, November 13th through the 18th. My group's going to be running on November 18th in Forest Park. That's in Springfield, Massachusetts. We got a bunch of people. We're going to run, and then we're going to go eat tacos. That's what we're going to do. And I think that's a great plan. I'm really looking forward to it. So, if you waited till the last minute, I'm sorry, but your luck has run out. And I really think that we're going to put together a great event. And not only am I looking forward to this year's one, but I'm already looking forward to next year's one. That's how excited I am about this thing. So I hope you guys have signed up already. I look forward to seeing all of your runs posted on the page over at social media. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to get underway. So it also leaves the pretty much the last topic of discussion here. And I was kind of hoping to do this without Stephanie in the room because I think we got a lot going on at this New York City Marathon. So she had actually won the lottery 2 years ago and was able to defer her entry last year because she'd run through charity and she wasn't really trained up to speed. She wasn't really ready to go. So she deferred it to this year. We got married 2 months ago, and we did a lot of our wedding day. We met through the determination team, through American Cancer Society. So we got them involved in our wedding, and they were amazing to us. They treated us, fabulously. And as a gift for our wedding, they gifted me an entry to the New York City Marathon on one condition. And the condition was that I have to run with my new wife, and I can't leave her in the dust. So, This is the way it's going to be. The problem is, she deferred last year because she didn't really train too much. Well, she trained even less this year. She is. Hey, listen, no chirping from the peanut gallery. All right. Here's the problem. I don't think she's run more than 3 miles in the last 2 or 3 months.
You can't say that on the podcast.
You cannot censor me, woman. You will not censor me. I will not be censored. So that is a problem. So last night I just said, you might want to rethink this thing. You are in trouble. She said, no, I'm not in trouble. I think I'm just in denial. And I'm like, no, you're not in denial. You are in trouble. See, I always thought, and this was my theory, was, I think that most people can fake a half marathon. And I mean that. I mean that in that, if you've never really run that far before, I would hate to say, if you're really overweight and you jumped off the couch and you never ran before, yeah, I think even walking 13.1 miles is probably gonna be tough. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you're in halfway decent shape and you go out there and you have a little run walk strategy, I think you can kind of get done in 3 to 3.5 hours and, somewhat respectable. The finish line's still going to be up at that time. It's not like people are going to walk away. I think a lot of people that are generally fit can get that done. Now, when you go double the distance, I think it's a different story. I just think for me, I know it's a different story. It's a whole new ball game. And, my goal for Sunday is to get my wife from the starting line to the finish line. If I have to carry her, or hopefully it won't come to that. But if I have to carry her, that's what's going to have to happen. I might carry her to a bar on First Avenue, maybe just for a drink, and then go back out. But we'll get there. It might take us 7 hours. We're going to get there. And in a weird way, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's going to, I think probably like the first 10 miles will be some really quality time. And I think probably the rest of it is really going to test the strength of our marriage. But I'm looking forward to passing that test and getting this accomplished. Now, one of the reasons why I gave up on Suffolk, and didn't run it was because I had these 2 marathons back to back, and I knew I had to do New York. This was like a special thing for me. I have to do this one. This is, the first marathon I ever did. It means a lot to me, and it doesn't matter if I'm trying to go for a PR or if I'm just trying to get from point A to point B and just finish and get a medal. Either way, it's a special race. And I knew that I was going to definitely do that one. But to do back-to-back marathons in successive weeks, even though I wasn't really going to push myself in New York, I think what that was going to do in the back end, it was going to take me out of training for another 2 to 3 weeks beyond that, because it's just going to take a lot of time to recover, whether I'm busting my butt on Sunday or not. If I had run Suffolk last Sunday and then run New York this Sunday, I was going to need to take a break of a few weeks. And I've already taken a break from Ironman. I just felt like it was going to be a month to a month and a half, really, of racing with with very little training. And I didn't like that idea. I didn't want that idea for me. I'm kind of, I think that a big race is a wonderful thing and it's good to have goals. But for some reason, when it gets around that race time and it's a couple weeks before and it's a couple weeks after, it's always like, I don't know, it's very hard for me to kind of keep up the routine. And I like the routine. You do all this training, months and months, if not a year of training that I did for the Ironman. And then I did a couple months after for Ironman Maryland. So really, I trained a year for Ironman. It becomes part of your life. It becomes part of your routine. And then when you lose it, you can lose it pretty badly. I haven't woke up in the morning in God knows how many months to go to swim. I used to swim in the morning or go to the gym in the morning. I don't do that. I get up, I hit snooze, I go to work. I haven't done a morning workout in months. I haven't, and really my training was slipping. I felt like my pacing on my medium distance runs was down. I had gotten it, I'd comfortably been running under 9-minute miles. And I couldn't do it anymore. I've gained a little weight. I was at my low of 203 pounds right around Lake Placid. I'm back up to 216. It's not comfortable. This isn't, and the only thing I can point to is that I lost my routine in there. I lost it. I had a really good routine, a really good training program going, and you hit the race and then you take a couple weeks off and you just lose the focus, you lose the discipline, and you got to fight to get that back. I've had the last couple weeks, I've had issues obviously with the podcast. I've been doing this thing. I've been recording every night. It's ridiculous. And I haven't been able to push out a product, it really hurts. It hurts my psyche. Last night, I think with the power outage and then the power finally coming back, there's sort of symbolic to me. I had worked out and I took a shower, and for the first time I noticed, since I did Ironman Maryland, for the first time, they give you a little bracelet when you do the Ironman. And for me, it's like a thing. I can't, it takes me a while to cut the bracelet off. It's like, it's a reminder of, hey, you just did this. Like, this was a great experience. It just happened. It's still, it's almost like you never want to take it off. It's almost like my wedding ring. Not quite, but, I didn't want to take it off. And all of a sudden I'm taking a shower and I realize like this thing is like getting in the way. Like it's not, and it's for like the first time I realized like it's getting in the way, like it's annoying. And that was the first time I felt it. So I got out and I cut it off. So I finally, after 3 weeks, I cut off my Ironman bracelet, and hopefully it was just sort of an ending to that chapter. And I put a really good day of working out in today. I didn't get up in the morning, but I did a great lunch workout. I lifted, I hit the elliptical, and then I got home and I did a 45-minute run. It was a low 9-minute mile paces, and I feel really good about it. I feel great about it. Now, it's Halloween. Stephanie and I are gonna hit the town in a little bit. We're really excited over it. And today has just been, it's been a pretty good day. It's been a really good day. And, I think now that I didn't do the Suffolk Marathon and I'm doing New York and I'm not going to push myself as hard as I can, I feel like it's going to afford me the opportunity to get back, when I get back from New York, to get back into that training regimen, that discipline, that scheduling that I'm used to, I desperately need to get back into that focus and frame of mind that I had really all last year. I'm fighting for it, and hopefully, I think that this is a good sign. It's hopefully this podcast I won't have to delete or or edit or have to mess with it too much. I could just put it out there, and really that's all I got for you today. It's been a weird couple of weeks. It's been ups and downs, and a lot of strange twists with the podcast and with this race that I didn't do, and the upcoming race in New York. Really looking forward to it. We have obviously the Million Moo March selling out was a great thing. Really looking forward to participating in that. That's only in a couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to just getting back into training mode. So, and hopefully after this podcast, I'll be bringing the guests back in. It's so funny, leading up to this Ironman Maryland thing and the subsequent podcast, I was having trouble getting guests on the show. I couldn't find them. Now I have tons of guests, except for my computer doesn't work, so I couldn't podcast. So I'm happy that we have the list of guests. I'm going to start, checking them off one by one, getting them in here, getting them on the show, so you guys don't have to listen to me drone on and on for whatever it is, 40 minutes right now. But on that note, I will talk to you guys next week. And until then, always remember, when it comes to running, I'm no expert. I'm just ordinary.